They say those that can do and those that can't teach. But also those who were great players don't always make great coaches. And so in sports, you will find many examples of wildly successful coaches who actually sucked at the games they have led teams to victory in. I guess you don't need to have done it to tell someone else how to get it done. Here are the 5 most successful coaches that sucked at their sport. And before I get into this, I want to thank lots of examples of coaches and managers that did not play at the pro level. The criteria for this exercise relies heavily on highest level that the individual played at and the highest level of success their teams have achieved. Remember to leave your suggestions below. Number 5, Jim Leyland. I love Jim Leyland. Have you ever seen a manager just smoke a cancer stick in the dugout like it wasn't shit and manage his way into one of the most improbable World Series winning teams in the history of baseball? What you didn't know about the mustache gritty SOB who hated the media was that he was a very average baseball player, a defensive catcher who played in the Tiger system and never made it past AA and hit a career .222 and 4 total home runs. In his last year of 1970, he was in AA but was already coaching for the team and had only played in 2 games that whole year. I guess he saw the writing on the wall, and he then went on to enjoy a 17-year managerial career which will likely see him in the Hall of Fame. I wonder if they will sculpt a cig in his mouth for the plaque. Number 4, John Cooper. Current Tampa Bay Lightning coach John Cooper sure does look slick over there on the bench. He's tactful, good looking, and articulate. Man, he should have been a lawyer. Which is funny because he actually is one, and he served as a public defender in Michigan for 11 years. Even better, Cooper didn't even play much hockey growing up, as he was a star in lacrosse as a midfielder at Hofstra University. So how does a lacrosse playing lawyer in a suit become the coach of the Lightning and lead them to a finals and conference finals in back-to-back years? Cooper began playing club hockey when he was going to law school in Michigan. One of his teammates, another lawyer by the name of Thomas Brennan, noticed Cooper's charm and ability. Brennan had a son who played goalie at a local high school, and when their coach left, they asked Cooper to try it out. The rest is history, as Cooper has stated his experience as a lawyer has helped him as a coach, and thank God he still isn't a lawyer, otherwise I'd have to hate him. Number 3, Matt Patricia. Is there a hotter coaching prospect out there than the bearded Belichick Jr. Matt Patricia, who is quickly garnering Sean Lee level impact to the coaching decision making that always turns to gold? And luckily for Patricia, coaches don't get hurt. The bearded wonder has a much more scientific path to the NFL than you would imagine. Like his mentor, Patricia never got near an NFL field as he graduated from RPI, the Harvard of Engineering, where he did play as a guard and a center on the team, which was and still is in Division III. He did begin coaching at RPI, but also was working as an HVAC engineer and turned down a 6-figure gig to maintain nuclear subs to continue to coach. It's been said that he has studied suborbital ballistic propulsion engineering, which is not exactly rocket science. From RPI, he moved on to Amherst and then Syracuse. And then, like so many times before, Belichick found the unheralded Patricia and made him an assistant in 2004. I could imagine that interview process. Do you like mumbling, getting angry at the media, and sacrificing everything in your life to win Super Bowls? Yes? You start Monday. Patricia was named defensive coordinator in 2012 and will likely be a head coach next year after the Pats complete their ascension to supreme overlords of football. Number 2, Ken Hitchcock. There is no way anyone can look at Ken Hitchcock and think he was a professional athlete, let alone an athlete of any kind. And guess what? They may be fucking right, as Ken Hitchcock may be the only championship coach in any sport to have barely ever played the sport unless there is something called competitive suicide bombing. Hitch grew up around hockey rinks as his dad was a coach and did rink maintenance for many teams. Hitchcock often helped him with those duties. And he didn't play much further than junior in Canada, but I'm willing to bet he is one of the only coaches in the NHL that actually knows how to drive the Zam. Hitch started coaching kids at the midget AAA level and led Sherwood Park to an absurd 575-69 record. He then began coaching Major Junior to great success, and in 1984 he broke into the WHL and was named WHL Coach of the Year in 1989, and then made it into the NHL in 1990 as an assistant. Hitch would get his first NHL coaching gig in 1996, and 3 years later, coached Brett Hull into scoring this fucking goal. Number 1, Gregg Popovich. Basketball genius, championship coach, hater of dumb questions, average basketball player. Maybe the most respected coach in the history of basketball, never set foot on an NBA court as a player. And it simply goes to show you that if you know your stuff as a coach, and if you know how to handle players, they won't be saying shit to you when it comes time to execute. Pop went to the Air Force Academy where he was his team's captain and leading scorer, which, I mean, like, the Air Force is known for midnight stealth bombing runs, not deep threes. Popovich would graduate from the academy and served for 5 years on active duty and even considered a career in the CIA, which in real life is nothing like Archer. Once his service time had expired, Pop came back to the academy as an assistant coach, and while getting his master's degree, he was named the head coach of tiny Pomona-Pitzer College, which he successfully coached for 9 years, and ultimately met Larry Brown at Kansas and volunteered as an assistant there for a full year. Brown ultimately made it to the NBA and took Pop with him to the Spurs in 1988. And what's interesting is that Pop was actually hired as the Spurs GM in 1994, and in 1996, when the team started 3-15, he made the smartest move of his life, hiring himself as head coach. And the rest is history, as he got gifted Tim Duncan to join David Robinson, and he has won 5 total championships and has kept the Spurs relevant all these years, and it's been an amazing tale of hard work and success. Just please don't ask him any questions on the sideline.
Thank you very much.
Gregg Popovich, 4 for 22 shooting so far on offense for you guys. What's the problem?
Well, it didn't go in the hole.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget that you can become an Airbnb host and start making serious money by turning unused space into income. Register through my link below and get started today. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. And as always, I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to the end of this video.